at the panel at Comic-Con, there was a moment that was kind of downplayed where you showed this young boy, and he looked awfully familiar, and I think we've all figured out by now that it's Boba Fett. And I think it surprised a lot of fans. And I know you probably can't get into too much detail, but what can you tell us about Boba Fett in season 2?
That troubled kid.
The troubled kid.
Yeah, he's got issues.
Is that it?
Yeah, I saw. It's funny, I saw one report online that I think said he was Han Solo, which is that sketch that we showed at Comic-Con definitely is not Han Solo. So, Boba, he's a decent kid, nice guy. I don't know too much about him. So,
all right.
He's all right. He struggles.
Okay. All right. So at least you can confirm that it is Boba. Yeah. So we know that it is Boba Fett.
He's no Cad Bane at that point, that's for sure.
Dave, we are looking forward to seeing the Mandalorians in the Clone Wars Season 2. What can you tell us about the role they play during the Clone Wars?
It's interesting because really those are two kind of Boba Fett-centric questions in that you're talking about the guys in the trailer that look like a bunch of Boba Fetts. It's funny you bring the word Mandalorian up because I was trying to think the other day about where was the first time I heard that word. I don't know. I was gonna ask you guys this return question about Mandalorians. Do you guys remember where the first time you ever heard the term Mandalorian? I know it would have been in reference to the armor, right?
Yeah.
The Boba Fett wears. Right. But how is it that we all got that term?
Dave, that's a great point because, it's not just that term, but there's a whole lot of terms as Star Wars fans that we just kind of, I don't know. I feel like I've always known it.
That we just suddenly seem to know.
Right.
As kids, and we're like, no, that's Mandalorian armor. Like, was it in the proof of purchase code that we were sending in to get the Boba Fett figure, and we just all absorbed that into our mind, or? Because I realize we all know, Bosk and Forlom and Zuckuss and Dengar and IG-88 because that was the toys, even though one of them was incorrectly named at the time. So we knew who those guys were from the toys, even though their names were never in the films. But this whole, what's the origin? I should just call Leland Chi. He would know the origin of the word Mandalorian. Yeah. But for myself, I was just wondering, as a kid, where did I come across that, and how did it's reached such a huge, level of importance? It's unbelievable.
Well, Dave, there's no putting the cow, the cows back in the barn. Clearly, Mandalorian his. I've made the claim here on the show that the Mandalorians are to Star Wars in a way what Klingons are to Star Trek. There's just it's become huge. It's become a total subculture within the community.
Right. When I first heard about Boba Fett as a kid, right, we could talk about Boba Fett, when I was a kid, and I understood for some reason, like was it the Fairfax Parade? I think they showed this on StarWars.com, where he was white. Mm-hmm. He was all white armor, much like the McCoy concept Boba Fett. And at that point, I believe that they were super commandos. They were going to be a super commando unit. Mm-hmm. Of, I guess, stormtrooper-like guys. So it's interesting to look back at that history of these characters and, all the mechanisms that if you had the Art of Empire Strikes Back book, which I did as a kid, man, there was stuff on that armor that I never got to see it do in the film, right? And you're just sitting there going, wow, look, it's got a little chest plate that flips down and it shoots a dart out. That's incredible. Why isn't it doing that? And there were helmet variations and... we really grabbed onto that, I think, all of us as kids, and wanted it. I wanted that 12-inch figure very badly as a kid, the one that you could look through the eyepiece. And that was like a holy grail. I never got it. It was too dangerous, I guess.
I had it. I had
shot a rocket, right? You had it. Oh.
Yes,
I still don't have it.
Yes, I did. I think my brother somehow claimed it for his collection, and it's still there. But, Dave, you bring up a very interesting question. I've been racking my brain ever since you asked. Where did we first see the term Mandalorian? And the first thing I thought of was the novelization of Empire Strikes Back. But I believe you're correct in your assessment is saying that they were called super commandos, in that they were known as a group of super commandos that were defeated by the Jedi Knights during the Clone Wars. And this is in the actual novelization for Empire Strikes Back. I don't believe. Now, see, I'm going off the top of my head here. I don't believe Mandalorian was the term applied. It was Super Commando. So where did we first see that? See, you're giving us little clues here. And I think you know exactly where Mandalorian is from. Yes.
Oh, really?
I think you know exactly where Mandalorians were first referenced, and you're leaving it up to us to figure it out. This is kind of like a Dave Filoni scavenger hunt.
You might be making leaps there, young Luca. Not sure, but it could just be a civil curiosity, one fan to another. You never know.
Sure.
I feel tremors in the Force.
Right. Or he's just trying to throw us off the trail and say, "Oh, please don't ask about the Mandalorians."
Hey, this is Dave Filoni of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and you are listening to Rebel Force Radio with Jason and Jimmy.